Hey guys, Tyler Wild from PC Gamer here. Some early impressions of the Hawken Open Beta. It just entered Open Beta. It's a free-to-play mech shooter which you can get at playhawken.com. And we've been talking about this game a lot because technically there are some feats here. It looks beautiful. What you're seeing right now is how long it takes to join a match and load a map and start playing, which is almost no time at all, which is pretty amazing. I can't get a whole lot more than 30 FPS on my system, but I'm not using a GTX, and that's understandable. As for the actual mechs, they feel absolutely great to pilot. There's a lot of fidelity. The boot up screens, the way my vision rotates before the mech's torso, some really amazing sound design, just the way I crunch into walls and obstacles. They're using the thrusters to strafe dodge, the sort of slingshot from being this plodding dinosaur to being this jet that can dodge into cover and then back out around, and you end up in this dance with other mechs, which is really cool. Unfortunately, the mechs aren't all that fun to shoot. My colleague Evan Lottie will tell you all about why mechs are great things to shoot at. They're big, they're generally slow, they're clunky, and they're very modular. You know, you have these big bulky limbs that you want to shoot off, you want to cripple them. Hawken doesn't take advantage of that. As far as I can tell, you know, there's no difference when I'm shooting at someone's foot or the cockpit or wherever. It's just a totally uniform amount of damage and a health bar that goes down, and there's a little bit of feedback, maybe some smoke, but mostly I'm looking at the health bar until they explode, and with so much fidelity elsewhere in the game, that feels kind of strange to me. The guns are cool. The guns are nice. The rockets are cool. My sharpshooter mech, which I called Wesley Snipes, of course, has this long-range Sabot rifle, which I like a lot. Missing is almost as fun as hitting with it, because it creates this huge, ridiculous plume of debris. So there's definitely a sense of power there, you know. But the sound effects and the bullet trails don't seem to vary, at least so far for me, a whole lot between guns. There's no real recoil to deal with, so I'm only really noticing, hey, this one's fire rate is different and this one does more damage. The rockets definitely have more functional differences, kind of an easier thing to do. This one locks on, this one can detonate midair, that kind of thing. They're all fine, but in the end, when I take a mech down, it just feels kind of matter of fact, and this is a problem with the whole world of Hawken. It's amazingly realized. There's some great art direction. It's this dystopian, monochromatic world, and everything is kind of made of metal that looks like it was rotting in the sun. It's beautiful and really cool, but it's so subdued in parts that you kind of can forget that you're in a giant mech, blowing up other giant mechs, which should be totally amazing. And there are all these restrictions to the levels too. When I want to jump up to a ledge to scout for my teammates, you know, often it'll throw up a gridded barrier or just say you can't go that high. And you know, I understand that the maps are designed to funnel traffic in certain ways, create choke points and flanking routes and all that. But telling my giant mech where it can and can't go takes me out of the illusion that is created so well, and kind of makes me feel trapped. I would just recommend you forget deathmatch and forget team deathmatch and just go to siege mode, because that is the best mode in Hawken and the only one I've really enjoyed playing. Siege is this tug-of-war where teams collect energy to launch battleships at each other's bases. You have to go get the energy, bring it back to your base, and it's collected. And once you launch a battleship, you fight for control of these AA silos. If you have control of it, it'll shoot at the enemy battleship. If they have control, of course, it'll shoot at yours. I've had some great battles playing Siege. You know, I'm defending an AA silo, I'm dodging obstacles, picking between multiple targets. You know, do I go for the strongest, the weakest? There are a lot of tactical decisions going on. Maybe I need to jet away to repair, or lure enemies towards some reinforcements that I know are coming. Siege kind of also suffers from what I said about that subdued atmosphere, though. It's everything from the menus to the music, sort of dire, gritty, yucky, kind of filtered war, and there's sort of this coat of dust over everything, this intentional lack of personality to make the world feel bleak. But I think personality is just so important, especially to a free-to-play game. People love their League of Legends champions. These people get really attached to them because they're unique and different, and they're kind of fun. You know, Hawken's mechs can be customized with cosmetic parts, but the only one I really thought was cool was this cockpit that sort of looks like a big CRT TV. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but I like that one. You know, even though MechWarrior is a very different game, it's relevant here because battle mechs have so much personality and functional differences. You know, I pilot a Jenner, and that says something about me. Someone in an Atlas or a Hunchback or a Catapult has a very different experience and different tastes. Whereas Hawken is more like, well, what do you want? Do you want an assault rifle? Do you want a sniper rifle? Do you want green camo or kind of grayish camo? You know, there's not a lot to make it feel like my mech, that this is the one I chose and this is what I use. But as far as the microtransactions go, Hawken's pretty good. There's not really much to buy yet, and the main thing you'll want are new mech classes, which are $5, which seems pretty reasonable to me. There aren't that many of them. Or you can spend a little over 6,400 Hawken credits, which you get by playing, of course. I had about 700 after just a few hours, so it's not a totally absurd price. I will say, however, that the rookie mech is kind of a bummer. When they were going one-on-one with the assault class mech that I bought, they were having a hard time. In a team, you know, it evened out. It didn't make much difference, but for me, I didn't want to go through that. I just bought it, and that is something I have a habit of doing in free-to-play games. But the grind isn't terrible. It's not ridiculous to use Hawken credits as far as I can tell. So in the end, there's some amazing stuff going on here. There's some amazing art direction. I think it's a little too subdued, but it is very cohesive and very pretty to look at. And there's a lot of fidelity, except in a few specific places that I called out. And I've had some really fun skirmishes. I definitely would recommend that you download it, playhawken.com, and give it a try. It is worth the time it takes to download it and load it up. But is it the next League of Legends? I don't think so, not right now. It's sort of been touted as this huge competitive thing that's going to blow up, but I just don't see it. I mean, it could prove me wrong, but right now I just feel like it needs to be a little more playful and more exciting. It needs to be somewhere I want to invite my friends to hang out with me. But right now it just kind of feels bleak, and I would really much rather go into somewhere colorful with my friends and get on Skype. Even MechWarrior Online kind of seems more playful, and it's such a serious game for serious tactical people. But I would like to see it succeed. I think the team did a really amazing job with the engine and with the art direction, like I said. And we'll, of course, continue to keep up with Hawken as the open beta changes. It's going to change. It's going to not necessarily look anything like it does now in 1 month or 2 months or 6 months. So we'll keep track of it. For more on Hawken and everything else, PC gaming, subscribe to our YouTube channel, of course. Go to pcgamer.com. Again, these are really early impressions, and you know, I haven't put 20 hours into it, so go shoot some mechs and let us know what you think. See you later.